This is actually a regular board meeting. We're just having it on a different night, and because of that, it is called a special call meeting. We would like to welcome all our visitors here with us, and then all of the folks that get to come every month and just enjoy themselves so much. But the first thing on our agenda tonight is a moment of silent prayer. Amen.
Amen.
Let the minutes note in our roll call that Miss Angie Woods cannot be with us tonight. We want to miss her. Item 1C is the reading of board team commitments. Would you like to read those for us
Sure.
tonight? Thank you.
To improve our effectiveness, the board team for Rockcastle County Schools commits to review processes and experiences to identify and direct improvements, continuously define and work toward long-term goals which serve all students of the district, make each decision based on facts and the best for all students, listen to each other and speak freely, work together, support each other, and not surprise one another, discuss board deliberations to point a mutually agreeable resolution based on factual information, support the majority's decision, projecting board unity toward shared goals for continuously improving district-wide student learning, operate without personal or political agendas, respect one another, agree to disagree respectfully, delegate implementation to superintendent and education team, and to respectfully remind each other of these commitments.
Thank you very much. Item 2 is adopt the agenda. This is a special call meeting, so there's really nothing that can be changed. With that being said, I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Item 3 is our school and community showcase. And the first thing, we have the Rockcastle Academy for Academic Achievement. Mr. McClure, thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for having us tonight. I know the meeting changed. I don't know what's going on tomorrow. I think spring training opens tomorrow for Major League Baseball, so I think that's the holiday that you're all kind of worried about. Just want to talk a little bit about the Rockcastle Academy. We're kind of broken into two parts: in-person academy, and then we still have our virtual academy. Right now, working there, Ashley McKeon, Miss Connor, Miss Barbara Connor, Miss Betty Holt, which she's back here with me, Miss Shawnitha Watson, Mr. Chris Hendrickson, Mr. David Owens, and then myself. We are the staff there at the academy. I'm going to kind of talk in two different sections or two different times tonight, but the first is going to be about the in-person academy. We have grades 6 through 12 there at the in-person academy. Not very many middle school students there with us right now. They come and go a little more frequently than the high school students there at the academy. A lot of the high school students there, when they come to us, they're kind of behind on credits and stuff, and we work with them to get them caught up on credits. Again, this year we are using the Edgenuity program that I talked about last year. We thought it was successful last year. We were able to help a lot of students get their credits, get caught up, graduate, or return back to the high school, or know what was going on a little bit at least to go back to middle school to 6th, 7th, or 8th grade. And last year with the virtual, we did have elementary students. But like I said, I'll talk about virtual here in just a little bit. Right now, today, until Mr. Reppert calls me again here in an hour, we have about 25 in-person students that come daily. We met on 2 or 3 more today to kind of work out the logistics on what we're going to do with those students. But right now, if everybody's there, it's about 25. Some of those students are there because of poor attendance, so there's not 25 there every single day. They just struggle, but they do. We have Miss Betty Holt has worked really hard the last couple of years on reaching out every morning and contacting those parents or those students and wanting to know why you're not there, or how can we come get Miss Reppert will go pick them up. We'll go pick them up. Somebody, from the academy will go pick up those students if they need it. And some of them, they block those calls in the morning because they just won't show up some days. Kind of like I said, students are there at the academy for a variety of reasons: behind on credit, social emotional needs, just different things. Not at this time, not a lot of behavior. I know when we take students to the academy the first time, the student or the parents are always afraid that it's just for the students that are in trouble. 15, 20 years ago, maybe that's the case. But today, it's not really that. Very few students are in trouble. If they're in serious trouble, some other things are done with those students. And I think as of today, 5 students have completed credits for graduation, something like that, I think. So from the beginning of the year until now, they have completed, and some of those students, 10 or 12 credits. They need a lot of credits, but they're working on Edgenuity every day. So from 8:15, we come back from breakfast until 3 o'clock. They can work on those classes, work on those credits, and get caught up. But we do have 5 that have completed their credits for graduation, so we don't see them anymore. Now, Miss Betty, I check in on them, just to make sure that they're doing what they need to be doing. Are you trying to find a job? We've had, 2 ask about maybe trying to get into college and stuff. So they do stay in contact with us, and try to keep up with what's going on. A lot of students that have completed a lot of credits this year, and they will be eligible to return to the high school next year if that's something that they want to do or something that we feel like they need to do is return to the high school. Our day, kind of talk about our day. Students will come in the morning. Like I said, it's just kind of a small atmosphere there. So we check those students when they come in the morning. We take their cell phones from them because we just feel like they don't need their cell phones there at school because something is distracting them from getting their credits. So if we take that away from them, then they can focus on their work. Because if they had their cell phones, then they would be on that all day, and it would take 3 years to get 2 credits. We come in, meet with those students in the morning. We go to the middle school for breakfast about 8:05, return back to the academy about 8:15, take a restroom break, and then they split up into my classroom or Miss Betty's classroom, and they get to work. And we split those students, just different ways. Sometimes it's younger students and older students split up. Sometimes it might be males and females. Sometimes it may be who has the most credits completed. Like we just random ways that we split those students. Miss Betty usually takes, if it's a bad split, Miss Betty took care of the split. If it's a good split, I did the split. But somebody's gonna complain every day. So we have about 4 class periods before lunch. Around 11:10, we go to lunch right now. I know the middle school schedule is going to change big time here in the next 2 or 3 weeks, so our lunch is going to change by an hour. But we're just kind of at the mercy of the middle school when we can go to lunch and gym. Because I know middle school is on like a 12-week, is that what their terms?
Yeah.
So the next 6 weeks, our lunch is going to change a little bit. So we go over for lunch and gym at the same time. We either eat in the middle school, but this year we've been bringing our lunch back to the academy, eating there in the classroom. Those kids are comfortable doing that. They like doing that. So we bring them back, maybe show them a movie or something like that while they're eating lunch, give them that 25, 30 minutes, and then we split again for a period. And then about 1:35, now Mr. Brent Lovell comes over from the middle school with JAG, Jobs for America's Graduates, and he works with those students kind of in a group session there for about 30 minutes. And then at 2:15, someone from Somerset Mental Health comes in and does a group session with those students from Somerset Mental Health. And this year, it's a different person. All 5 days is a different person. Last year, we had the same person, and if he had to be out or if he had a client that called in wanting to meet with him, it kind of messed with our schedule a little bit. But this year, they've divided it up amongst pretty much the whole office, so somebody will show up every day, and we think that's good for those students because they get a different perspective every day. Not every student will talk to a male counselor, and we understand that. We know that's fine. So we hope that all 25 of our students find somebody through the week that they can kind of attach to, they can kind of relate to, and they don't care to, share their feelings, share their thoughts and ideas with those counselors, and just kind of talk about what's going on at home or what's going on at school and how they can help. But like I said, JAG, Mr. Brent Lovell, he's starting to get his feet wet, starting to figure out what to do. But JAG helps our students learn skills that will help them applying for jobs. I don't think yet he's filled out job applications with them yet, but he will start working on some of that. I know he has talked about leadership skills, how to present yourself in a positive manner, how to talk to people, because we have some students there that have anxiety, and and it's a serious issue right now in our schools, especially. But nationwide it is, but in our school it's a serious issue. Like I said, Mr. Reppert's going to call me tomorrow morning because we're going to talk about another one. He's going to call me Wednesday. He's going to call me Thursday because they're calling him all the time, with these students, with their children that they're having these issues. So we feel like you know, with JAG and with Somerset Mental Health, that if they can relate to one of those other staff members, you know, that's going to help them out. And Brent's, you know, he's a little bit younger and stuff, and we feel like that those, you know, those kids kind of relate to him because he didn't just go to school to be a teacher. So you know what students think of teachers all the time. That's all you do. You sleep right there, and then you wake up the next morning in that same room, and you're there all day. But he's, you know, he's worked construction, and he coaches baseball, and they see him at the Little League Park. So we feel like that he's going to be beneficial, you know, to us. Like I said, I just want to make this kind of short, just talk a little bit about In-Person Academy, and I did bring a student this year from In-Person Academy, Miss Madison Isaac. She's going to come up here. I think she's ready to talk about her story, kind of why she was at the academy, when she came to the academy, and how it's either helped or not helped you. But Miss Madison Isaac.
Hi guys, I'm glad to be here. Hello board members. My name is Madison Isaacs. I'm a student at Rockcastle Academy. My teachers chose me to come and speak to you tonight about our story and my personal story. Rockcastle Academy is the alternative school in our district. The purpose of our school is to support students who can't be successful in their life to go regular schools. For some reason, our school serves up to 30 students. Right now, I've got 24 classmates. Our population does change often. Some of my classmates are enrolled because they need support for their emotional health, and it's hard for them to be in large crowds of people. Some are there because they've made a decision behavior-wise and need to reset and get help, and some, like me, are there because they need to work on their credit recovery. To accomplish their goal of a high school diploma. I enrolled at Rockcastle Academy at the beginning of September 2022. When I came to Rockcastle County to live in foster care, I was a junior and didn't have all the credits I was supposed to have. I also had already repeated 1 year of school in elementary school. To share a little about my story, I was behind on credits because I became pregnant when I was 16 and had my son when I was 17. I hadn't earned as many high school diplomas as I was supposed to because of being removed from my biological family. And put in the foster care system, challenges I was faced at the time, missing a lot of school. When I first came to the academy, I was nervous. I expected the worst because of my previous alternative schools. I actually had a hard time in the first few days, even breaking down once when I was thinking about all my past. I trusted Miss Betty and she helped me through it all and talked to my foster family for me and waited with me until they got there. Now I know when I need something I can always talk to Mr. McClure or Miss Betty. It took some time to get used to, but now I'm really comfortable in my school. Besides the people, things I really like about the academy are that we move around, switch classes about every 50 minutes. We go to the restroom when we really need to. I like going to the middle school. We get our meals. We use the gym for our gym time, and then we go back over to the academy. And I play basketball with the boys every day. I participate in 2 group sessions each day, JAG, Jobs for American Graduates, and Somerset Mental Health. I actually have a Somerset Mental Health counselor that comes and speaks to me once a week over there at the academy. We have everything we need in our little small place across from the middle school there. Our school uses an online learning program called Edgenuity. Each student has their classes depending on what they need and what grades they're in. Students work and get help from our teachers when they need it. Another good thing about my school is teachers let you work at your own pace. Students get a lot of choice and can work on whatever class they want as long as they're making good grades. They talk to us about it very often, a lot, about our grades and catch us up on what we need. They help us focus on meeting our goals. I've already earned 9 credits this year so far. One I tested out for credit recovery and then I earned the rest. I've worked really hard this year. I come every day and use all my time on my classes. I take my Chromebook home. I work at home, even though it's not required, but I still choose to. I'm really motivated to get my credits. So I work several nights after school, several nights on the weekends even. Honestly, I've surprised myself how far I've come. My plans was I was gonna drop out until I came to foster care, lived here in Rockcastle County with my school and my family that I have now. My goal is to earn 24 credits by the end of this school year and graduate in May with my original graduation class. I'm confident because I'm able to work at my own pace and because I've put in a lot of hard work this year. Being enrolled at the academy has helped me a lot and has been the best school I've ever been to. I'm confident I'll earn my high school diploma this year and go on to technology school to work on computering and technology and stuff like that and make a good life for me and my son. Thank you for inviting me and thank you for taking time to listen to what I had to say about my story in Rockcastle County. Are there any questions?
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, thank you. What's your little boy's name?
Liam.
Oh, Thomas, why don't you scoot out of the way and let Oh, what a doll baby.
He's beautiful.
Got your hair color.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That took a lot for you to come up and do that, and, you know, we're all really, really proud of you and the work that you, have done, and I can remember when your foster mom came to the office and we talked about, you know, she's just so much wanted to see you have success and to come to the academy, and we're really, really just so proud of you.
We are all very excited. The academy's been wonderful for her.
We are so proud of you.
Thank you.
And listen, after you graduate this year, you still got a group of people right here in this room that care for you and are willing to help you even after you graduate. So don't ever forget that, okay?
Thank you.
We gotta slow her down. Yeah, she's on the weekend. Can you unlock this? Yeah, I need to. She's got a ball game to go to tonight, I think. 4th and 5th grade? Second, 4th and 5th grade? So she's all the time doing something. But like she said, 9 credits, 4 more to go, I think, maybe, so.
That's awesome.
Now I got 2 more to go.
Oh, 2
now.
more. Oh, you finished 2. Yeah, she finished 2
I
this
had
week, I
1
guess.
done and I finished 1 today and now I'm down to my last 2 credits.
That's awesome.
Like I said, and there's more like that. I mean, they work the whole time they're there, work on the weekends, work at night. Talk a little bit about My Rock Online. as of today, we have 12 middle school students that are enrolled in My Rock Online. Not as many as last year. We kind of expected that, coming into the year, there wouldn't be as many middle school students. But we have 56 high school students enrolled in My Rock Online. This year, the My Rock Online staff, we kind of restructured the requirements for our program. We kind of saw where we struggled last year or where the students struggled last year, and we made some changes going into the year. We're still making changes every day with that. We created an introductory course for each student to take when they enrolled in My Rock Online. Not all classes that were on Edgenuity, but we also wanted them to be able to upload some files, upload some images, because some of those projects and stuff that they work with, they have to upload some things. And then they turn it in blank, and it takes us about 5 clicks to figure out that it's blank. And then by then, Mr. Hendrickson's boiling a little bit by the time he figures out that it's blank. So then when he emails them back to tell them that it was blank, but sometimes they just didn't understand how to attach or how to find something on their Chromebook. So that's kind of what that introductory course is for. Just some of the basics that you'll do in Edgenuity. We also set up a 2-week trial period for each student. We thought after 2 weeks, if you're not working, if you're not keeping up with everything that you're supposed to do, then you're not going to do it for the semester. Because when you sign up for My Rock Online, you're supposed to stay for the semester. But we talked to Mr. Reppert and kind of talked him into allowing that 2-week trial period. We talked to Miss Willis at the middle school. We talked to Mr. Bussell at the high school, and they agreed for that 2-week trial period that they probably wouldn't be too far behind at the high school in 2 weeks, because you do all those drills and you do some introductory stuff there at the high school in 2 weeks anyway, so they could get caught back up. But we thought if 14 days you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing on Edgenuity, then you're not going to make it up. And we sent a couple students back, not very many. Thank you.
Thank you.
We increased the number of times that students will have eyes on them this year through in-person visits and Google Meet sessions. Google Meet sessions, you have to have one individually. You have to have one as a 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade, freshman, junior. So Mr. Owens and Mr. Hendrickson set those up by grade level. And then you could have other Google Meet sessions as needed. And then we would bring them in for an in-person session. So a lot more times, eyes on those students. And we just felt like that we need to see them. I mean, we've not, seen some of those students last couple of years, not seen them very many times at all. And it was hard to get them to come in last year, but I think they're getting in the habit now of getting on those Google Meets. Now, you do have a lot of those sophomore and junior girls right now that they don't want Mr. Hendrickson there. They just want him to open up the Google Meet so they can talk to each other, kind of see what's going on. They're, kind of sharing what's going on their house, weekend, whatever. But those girls get on there, and then he's got them coming up there in person together so they can, get caught up on work. Because we thought if they come up there together, then one person is going to have the same question as the next 5 students. So he can work through those problems together with those students, or if the project's just terrible, let's just scrap that project. Here's what we're going to do instead. But if it's 15 questions about one project, and he has to say that same statement 15 times, it's a little more difficult. But we thought if we get them in there together, everybody's going to have the same question, and it's a little bit easier to handle. Like I said, they can set up more individualized Google Meets as they need. Students have to check in daily still. High school has 7 class periods, so you got to check in 7 times, whether it's turning in assignments, emailing, calling, texting in. You have to check in 7 times. Middle school, they'll check in 6 times with Mr. Owens, some way, shape, form. Now, we do have a lot of students that like to work at nighttime, and that's fine with those teachers. When we take attendance, we might mark them absent today because 8 to 3 you didn't do a whole lot. You had a doctor's appointment, you're gone, you worked that night, and then we'll work with you on your attendance requirements. Still, we take attendance those 7 class periods, doctor's notes, parents' notes. Some of them will send them to Miss Sherry. She emails them to us so that we get those doctor's notes. But you have to check in. Each parent was set up, whether they wanted to or not, with Parent Portal on Edgenuity. We got their emails when they came in. We sent them an email. They have a code on there so that they get a weekly report. Some of them set up a daily report from Edgenuity because they'll yell up there to the bedroom, "Are you working on Edgenuity?" "Yeah, Mom, I'm working on it." They're not working on it. So when they get that report on Friday, "Well, you said you worked all 5 days, and this says you worked 0 days." So that kind of takes that questioning, away from those parents, and they know. And the students know that the parents are going to get those emails. Um, Students fall behind again, home visits, we go, we call. Mr. Hendricks and Mr. Owens are really good about contacting those parents and contacting those students. Students first. They want those students to respond, those students to take responsibility. Because we feel like with the online program, that's gonna help a lot of students be successful when they go to college. My daughter right now is taking online classes, so she's not going in person, she's gonna be online. So it's really up to her to, take care of that work, do all that work, check in with her professor. So we're trying to help those students get ready for, after high school. There's been probably 5 or 6 students that have come to Mr. Hendrickson or Mr. Owens to help apply for colleges and help fill out FAFSA because either they don't live with their parents or their parents won't fill it out for them, just, whatever the situation is. But those guys, I think they've been to Somerset a couple times, for students, or follow the students over there to, to show them where to go. So it's not just they're sitting in their classroom and they're answering those questions on Google Meets or anything. They're trying to reach out and do a lot more for those students because when they're working, they think that that's their role. That's what they have to do. If a student wants to go to college, let's get them there. Just don't let the parents or don't let the grandparents, whoever they may live with, hold them back. But like I said, we've been, a lot of houses, where those students not working. And most of the time, if we go once or twice, they pick it up. Related services, counseling, OT, speech, any related services that those students need, we set that up when they come for those in-person sessions. If students meet with Somerset Mental Health, then they can see Somerset Mental Health when they come up there for those in-person sessions. We try to work with, whoever it is. Miss Emily sees most of our students. We try to work with her on what's best for her schedule and when we can get those students up there to see her. But we just feel like we need to, kind of work with everybody, work on the same team to try to help those students as much as possible. And I did bring a student with me tonight that works with My Rock Online, Miss Jaslyn Garland. I think it's second year.
Third, actually.
Oh, third. So she knows what she's doing, but she's going to talk a little bit about why she does My Rock Online and kind of what she thinks about it, in the future. Miss Jaslyn Garland.
Hello, my name is Jaslyn Garland, and today I would like to tell you about how My Rock Online has helped me and students like me. I would like to share a few reasons how MRO is different and helps students like myself. First, students in an online program can take their time in classes and not feel the need to rush because they are on a classroom schedule. I speak from experience. I used to not be a very good student. I never really felt like I had enough time to really sit down and learn. Classrooms always felt like they lasted no more than 30 minutes. I struggled the most in math class. While in person, in order for me to really understand what the teacher was teaching, more often than not, I would have to speak to him or her personally and ask them to explain the lesson over to me again. Many times the teacher would be working with another student and leaving very little time for my questions. But you see, it's not like that in virtual learning, even though the content is still very challenging. With My Rock Online, I can take as much time as I need in the warm-up or instructions. I can replay the whole lesson or video when I want. Secondly, virtual learning gives students the opportunity to learn self-discipline. You have to make a schedule for yourself. A schedule ensures discipline. Think about it this way. When you create a schedule for yourself, you are working to become more organized and being more productive as well. You are less likely to procrastinate. If you have a schedule, also when you are doing your work virtually, there may be questions you do not know. But in my opinion, that's good because it makes you think and solve the problem on your own, which is something a disciplined person does in everyday life. My third reason, and this reason is a little bit more personal, some students need big friend groups in order to perform socially or just be happy, and some of us don't. When all students were on virtual learning, there were some of us that were like, when can I go back to in-person school? I was one of those students, but now I feel like things have changed socially for me. For example, when I was in school, I had fake friends and I was involved with a lot of girl drama, and honestly, I don't miss it. I'm a very independent person, so for me, virtual learning is not as socially challenging as it would be for those that need big friend groups of kids their age to be able to be happy. Now, when COVID-19 first hit, we were all online and honestly not prepared in the least, but who knew COVID-19 would happen? When the pandemic started and I was put online, I remember thinking, okay, yeah, no problem, I can do this and then I can go back to school. I had no idea that about 3 years later, I'd still be doing virtual learning and I love it. Don't get me wrong though, from time to time, I still think about going back to high school and doing in-person school again. I'm still on the fence about it, but as for right now, I plan to continue my education through my Rock Online. I think virtual learning is great for the students that are perfectly fine with being alone at times and having few friends. I love doing my work virtually. That's just what works for me. But I think it's only natural for me to be a little curious about what it's like to be in school again. I hope what I have talked about with you today gives you a better understanding of what virtual learning really is, instead of just assuming that students do it because it's easy. This has been a challenge. It tests your self-discipline, whether or not you're able to do things on your own, and sets you up to be successful outside of school. With that being said, the students that do virtual learning are challenged as much as the students who go into in-person school. My Rock Online is demanding, and that is what I personally most like about virtual learning.
Thank you.
Any questions for her?
I have a question. Do you, you were talking about discipline and having your day structured. What time do you usually do your?
Normally I set an alarm for probably 6, 7, and I get up. I eat my breakfast, I brush my teeth, I get dressed, and then probably at around 9, I start to do my work, and I don't stop until I get finished. I even work through my lunch break. When virtual learning first started, I was actually doing so much time taking notes this year that I was working until 6 o'clock, but my grades were good and I didn't mind working that late, so it was perfect for me.
Do you have other siblings
Mhm,
that
yes.
are they on virtual
I have a
also?
little sister. She's in 6th grade. Her name is Abby Whitaker, and she is doing virtual learning.
And she enjoys it also.
Oh yes, she enjoys it.
Well, you have someone to fight with though if you got a little sister, right? It's good that she has you that you can help her. That's wonderful.
How often do you talk to Mr. Hendrickson?
I talk to Mr. Henderson honestly daily. We talk about all kinds of different things. I have his phone number, Google Meets. I just feel, really comfortable with him. I talk like him, like he's my best friend.
And we feel like that's the way that it should be. That they should be comfortable asking questions. He'll help whatever. He'll
Yeah.
make it up if he doesn't know. But they don't know that he doesn't know sometimes. So.
I missed what grade are you in?
I'm a sophomore.
Sophomore.
You were kind of on the fence at the beginning of the year whether or not to do.
I'm still very curious about what it's like to be in high school again. I have friends who have told me different opinions about it, but I think maybe I'll go back. It's just, I don't know, but definitely 100%, I'm still on the fence about it.
Um, do you know what you plan on doing when you graduate high school?
Oh yes, I plan on being an FBI or a CIA agent or a federal marshal, something in the law enforcement area.
Wonderful. I don't ever want to see you outside when I'm. I'm very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I think it's wonderful that you are disciplined, and that will only help you be an FBI agent or CIA or a federal marshal. That's going to be helpful for you. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
You're welcome.
And their discipline comes the first time Mr. Hendrickson offers for them to make their own schedule. I'll make it. Yeah, I'll go home. I'll take care of that. Next Tuesday, did you make your schedule? Why didn't you get on there on Wednesday? I didn't make my schedule. So then when they come back in, Mr. Hendrickson takes care of the schedule. And then some students he tells, I'll call you in the morning, text you in the morning, here at 9 o'clock, you're doing math. 10:30, you're doing English. So he works with them all the time. Like I said, we feel like that's our job. That's what we should do. And they stay on top of them. But yeah, that second time he'll make the schedule, and you probably should have made it the first time yourself. But any questions for me? These kids are awesome, I think.
I
Thank
think
you
that
for
maybe
what
you
you
have
do.
one of the best jobs in the county.
Like it most days. Yeah,
Very
like I said,
rewarding, most days.
numbers are going up sometimes, and then hopefully by the end of the year, we get a lot more that are finishing their credits and going to graduate. And I think so. We have 4 or 5 in person that are down to their last 2 or 3 classes, and somebody had a bet today. She was talking about having a bet today that she was going to race somebody to see who could get finished first. So they're ready to finish. I don't know what the bet ended up being, but they were talking about who was going to get finished first. Thank you all again for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 3B, we have Miss Abigail Miller here. She is a Rockcastle County Middle School art student, and Miss Cassie, I think, is with her.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Miss Smith, the arts and humanities teacher at the middle school, and my class focuses on visual art and the dramatic arts. And when I was contacted about this opportunity for student art to be showcased on a state level, I was like, yeah, this is great. So the artwork does everyone have a copy?
Yes.
So this artwork will be showcased at the Kentucky School Board Association conference later this month, and it will be published in all of their conference publications. It will also be, I think, printed as a banner. It'll be on display in the, is the conference at the God House?
Yes, it is.
Yes, so it will be on display, the banner itself, and then in all the publications, and it will represent Rockcastle County throughout the school year and the school board. And the student artist, I'll introduce her and then I will let her speak. But so Abigail Miller is a 7th grade student at the middle school, and I've worked with her for 2 years now. She has been in the Arts and Humanities Gifted Program through Bravo, which is now called GATE, identified in visual art. So she has worked with me there, and hoping to continue to work with her through the rest of middle school. And I see Abigail using her art throughout high school and beyond, really. I don't know what she has planned, but I know that she could if she wanted to. So without further ado, I'll let Abigail speak. If you guys have any questions for her about her process, her medium, her ideation, any of that.
So the process that I did for the art was I used watercolor to get the paint done, and then I went in with a Sharpie pen to highlight some of the finer details. And I added, there's a space theme because we're the Rockcastle Rockets, and I figured that just work out.
I love it.
So, and I added lots of detail to make sure it looks good and stuff.
You did a great job.
So Abigail, this is always a really big moment for our board members because they go to this statewide conference and it's made up of board members from all over Kentucky. And they go, and the first thing everybody wants to do is find where's the artwork.
Yeah.
So we want to find the Rockcastle County banner, and typically they want to take a picture in front of it, and that's the highlight of the whole entire conference is seeing our student artwork. So thank you for what you've done. We'll make certain that we take pictures when we're there, and we'll make certain that we get them to Miss Cassie so she can show them to you. But you've done a fabulous job, and the theme is the sky's the limit. So you've captured that perfectly in your illustration. So thank you for what you've done for us.
One of the things I noticed, and you said you added a lot of detail. I see the cat jumped over the moon, and several other things, and it's very, very impressive. And I have to say, I wish that my mind would allow me to have this type of a creative nature to me. You're very, very, very talented, very talented. And thank you for making us look really good. Because don't even think that we don't get up there and we're like, hey, this is our kid right here. So we're very proud of it. Thank you.
And Abigail, I'd like Miss Jennifer, would you care to take a picture with Abigail and the board members so we can put that on our website?
Yes.
You'll want to go in front of the.
Is it okay if I take one too?
Absolutely. Sure.
I'm getting behind you. Which way to do that? That way is better, cause you can get closer. 1, 2, there.
You mentioned the detail about the cat jumping over the moon. One of your favorite subject matters is cats, right? So last year for Arts Night Out, and she's a sixth grader, she did for her theme for the Arts Night Out presentation. She took famous works of art like the girl with the pearl earring and Mona Lisa and all the famous paintings, but she turned it in all of the subject. They weren't human, they were cats, and it was really cool. So
That's actually her cat in that picture. We have a cat that's that bad.
well, thank you for your
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you all for having her.
Yes, thank you for
listen.
bringing her and having her
This is
here.
the
Letting
best
us
part of our
celebrate
meeting.
her.
Yeah. And we have not had a banner for several years, so we didn't get one, and this is, you know, it's just, you know, it's like being a proud mama. When you go up there, you know, you're just, you know, you just get so proud when you see something that your children are doing up there, but this is so impressive, you know. I think, I really can't even draw a stick man. I mean, when I say that, and the fact that you can do this and bring out aspects, it just amazes me. And that is so much talent. Just beautiful, beautiful talent. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, that's wonderful. I just love this. I'm so excited. Okay, item 4 is operations and actions. I personally did not have any questions about any of those. Did anyone have anything?
Move to approve.
Okay. All in favor? Item 5A is review and approve the monthly financial reports. Ms. Jenny has give those to us. Anyone have any questions? No? Nothing? Need a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Item 5B, review and approve the SBDM tentative allocations for school year 23-24.
Our tentative allocation, I believe Dr. Ballinger has already shared with you. This is a tentative allocation that we will be working with our building principals to discuss plans for the upcoming year, looking at the needs for their instructional programs, and you know, then come back and report. But we'll use this as a baseline for planning for the coming year.
Your enrollment number that you have there, will you remind me how you?
Sure. Mr. Rippert provides what's called a SAR report, and we utilize that for the FTE membership, and we use current year data. As you recall, we've been on this COVID pause and using 18-19 data. So this is our first transition to the current data.
Looking at this, is this the same allocation as last year?
Mm-hmm.
It is?
The allocation is a little bit different in that we are proposing to utilize the state recommendation per pupil student teacher ratio. And with that, we can always do more, and you know, filling the needs of our schools.
What is the current ratio that we're under?
Okay, the ratio proposed would be the high school at 31-1, the middle school at 29-1, 5th grade at 29-1, 4th grade at 28-1, and K through 3 at 24-1.
This also helps us as we're applying for grants. If we can show the need for more, that this is our allocation, but that we have more needs in our schools, then that also helps us as we're filling out grant applications. That helps when we can display that that need is there, then that helps us when we're receiving additional funding.
This current school year, what is our allocation? I mean, what's
Elementary
the
at
difference?
23-1. Do you have them all written out, Jenny?
I
But
do.
23, so it's going up one student in elementary.
That's the only difference.
No, it goes up in middle school.
Was at 27 and high school was at 29.
I guess my next question is this, how is this gonna affect our, personnel?
It won't.
It will not, okay.
Because we'll be able to, we can do more than what is on here. We do not have plans for making any changes at the staffing level,
Okay.
but it
That's
will
what I
help
was-
us with the grant
Okay,
process.
that's what I was wondering. I do not want to approve this and us go backwards in staffing.
We would like to use this as a baseline and work with our building principals to identify their needs. And, you know, always looking at ways how we can maximize our resources. And, you know, we will come back and, you know, it may be that under additional certified teachers that we need to request some additional at a future time. Or we may have other funding sources that we will be able to utilize, but we want to be able to maximize all of our resources. And other changes would be under section 6. We are allowing the 3.5% allocation of the $4,200 per student. So we're giving the maximum amount there for our schools to utilize for their operations. And Dr. Ballinger has worked to propose the increase of section 7 funds to increase $2,500 at the middle school and high school, and that is for their athletic fund.
Where do you see that? Point that out to me
It's
again.
under section 7 down toward the bottom.
Okay.
So our current year funding for the high school is $15,000. We're increasing that to $17,500. Middle school was $7,500. We're increasing that to $10,000.
Just their expenses have gone up so much well, everyone's expenses have gone up, but so we just felt like we needed to fund athletics more at the school level and let them be in charge of determining, you know, how that money's best spent to fund their athletic programs. And then the section 6 allocation, we're funding that on 4,200, 3.5% of 4,200. Last year that was funded on 3.5% of 4,000. So they're also receiving additional funding at the school level through that allocation.
For the materials,
Mhm.
correct?
Now, the academy's not on here. Where does that come from, or how does that work?
So in general fund, we have a line item budget for the academy, but we also have several different grants that we are able to provide resources. One of those being Title IV, and in that grant proposal, Mr. Thomas Coffey works with, you know, writing that in, you know, some of the needs that they have identified.
Thank you.
And in the email I had sent you all earlier today, this just kind of view this as a forecast. And in May, we will come back once we have enrollment numbers more solid. We've predicted how many incoming kindergartners we will have, but that's just a prediction. So until we get more solid enrollment numbers, we'll come back to you in May with this is just a tentative.
You had said something that with these numbers, it would allow the opportunity for grants. Would you explain what you're meaning by that? What type of grants are you?
So as we're working with different grants, resources, you know, we can identify, you know, if we can show it needs, maybe there's a grant that we want to explore to apply for. You know, we look at grant applications all the time. You know, we can show maybe a need. Maybe we have a need for a math interventionist or a math coach, you know, and we can show a need for those positions.
So on the grant application, it might ask, you know, how many teachers are allocated And so if we can show, well, we've allocated this, but our need is really this, then it helps us in receiving that grant funding.
Has this been something that's been discussed with your principals already?
You all, and the process is you all have to look at this first and approve a tentative, and then we take that to them, and we have it broken down with principals, each individual school, and it shows exactly like, this is the number of students that you have in first grade, this is the number in second grade, and here's where these teachers fall in it, and it also includes their classified staff, janitors, secretaries, it's their whole entire
Sure.
school resources. But then we also talk with them like, what are your needs? What is your vision for your school? Is there something that's on here that we're not, that you need to help your school be more successful? And then we come back to try to figure out, okay, how can we make that happen to support them? So that's the next step.
Have any questions?
Move to approve.
Second. All in favor? Review and approve the second reading of the 23-24 school calendar committee recommendation. Mr. Redford?
As you all know, you approved the calendar committee in December, and the committee met, and actually we met there in December right after the meeting and looked at a couple options, and then we got some feedback. This was sent out to the two options were sent out to the schools, parent representatives, and then we came back early January there and received some feedback from those, and the committee recommended option 2. And then, of course, at the last board meeting, we presented both options to y'all with that committee recommendation. And of course, this is the final step in that process. And obviously, option 2 has not changed. I've sought more feedback and not gotten any since that time from our stakeholders. So I'm asking you all to approve option 2 for the calendar for next school year. And of course, when you approve that, then we'll send that out and it'll be official.
Any questions? If not, we need a motion to approve our school calendar as presented, option 2.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, Mr. Redford.
Thank you.
Item 5D, review and approve the BG2 document for Rockcastle County Middle School project.
Okay, hang with me just a second. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, so good to be back. This is the big one. So this is the meeting we've been building.
The last one
toward.
wasn't the big one?
That wasn't the big one. This is it.
Okay.
So we need 4 approvals from you tonight. So we'll start kind of easiest and go to hardest. First one is easiest. This is the BG2. So you've been through building projects before, but there are 5 documents that make up the BG series of documents from KDE. The architect gets you through the first 3. The contractor will get you through the final 2. So we've already been through BG1. That's the initial one. This one is the BG2. It's what it says it is. It's the outline specifications, energy design criteria. KDE just holds modern buildings to a certain standard. They want to make sure that they're insulated in a certain way. They want to make sure they're constructed in a certain way. This document works to prove that it meets and exceeds those standards, which is no problem because the building does. But this one basically outlines, here's how many square feet we're talking about. Here's how many square feet of wall face we're talking about. Here's the roof assembly. Here's the types of lighting we're going to get. We're energy efficient kind of features that the building will have, et cetera, et cetera. So it's basically taking the nearly 400 pages of drawings that we've done and consolidating it into just a little bit of text so that KDE can quickly look at, okay, this meets our quality or it does not, which ours does. So we are asking that you approve this document for us to send it on to KDE. We will have to get a signature on there. If it would be good for us if you could designate Dr. Ballinger to sign that as a part of your motion, and that way we can get her to sign it and we can send it.
Is anyone have any questions about the BG two? Okay, and making a motion, we are making a motion not only to approve, but we are, also need the minutes to note that Miss Carrie can, use her signature to send to the state. So, motion to
So
approve.
moved.
Second, all in favor?
Thank you very much. All right, moving on, this is the BG3. So this is the final BG document that we will get you through. As discussed previously in previous meetings, this is the updated statement of probable cost. So the BG1 is the estimate at the very beginning before we draw a line, et cetera. This one is the documents are nearing completion. We know what the project is. Here's what we are projecting as a cost. So this is the same document that was reviewed at the previous meeting, but we didn't formally approve it, so we're now asking for formal approval. This one does not need sign. Oh, yes, it does. So I need the same permissions.
This has already been presented to us. This is just a little different format to look at. With that being said, we're gonna make a motion to approve with the same signature involved.
So moved.
Okay, second. First and second, all in favor? All right.
Okay, thank you very much. And then the last kind of KDE document, this is called the CEPTED. It's Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. It is a checklist. So again, we've drawn you a whale of a set of documents that work through these things. But what it wants us to do is work through a checklist just to make sure that we're thinking through everything that KDE wants us to think through in terms of crime prevention, you know, nullifying risk of a car being able to ram through the storefront, things like that. And so we have went through the checklist, we have responded to everything, and you can kind of see how we responded, and it was in the board packet. But we either feel really good about everything, or we've given an explicit reason of here's why we've done what we've done, and it makes sense. We feel like that the building has been designed competently in this regard, and we ask for your permission to send it on.
I know that Tom had some concerns originally about the courtyard. Do we feel like we've resolved those? And
We think so, yes. So we've continued communication with him. He influenced the design quite a bit. We rotated all that ramp system so that the initial feedback that we got from him is he was concerned about being able to kind of stand at the top and monitor everything. So we rotated that ramp to improve line of sight. He also influenced a lot of what we did at the front. So we revised our office layouts a couple different times to try to improve the layout of how the SRO kind of monitored the front.
Does anyone have any other questions? With that being said, we need to approve this CPTED checklist.
And it needs signed as well.
And we will need that with a signature approval.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor? Okay. Item 5G, review and approve the construction document for the Rockcastle County Middle School project.
Okay. So this one is the one. This is the big one. This one, it looks really good on paper that we're going to present it to you and ask for approval, but the truth is that it's impossible. This is a document, it's 393 pages of drawings, and then there are spec books behind it that are well over 1,000 pages, and we cannot possibly present it to you.
We don't want to.
And that's why it's not uploaded in your documents in the email that
So it's not an issue of desire or our want to please everyone and get you the work, but it's just not possible. So what we've done is prepare. We'll give to each of you, and we're going to ask that you approve us tonight more so for the KDE process so that we can upload it and keep everything on schedule. But you'll have a month and you can review these. If you need to rescind your approval, we can work through that. But we feel very good about the drawings. We've been working intimately with the district. We've worked, and you know, I get to come up here and give the little speech, but there's actually about a dozen people that have been working on this. If it's not for Chris, it's his one and only kind of job. There are a couple other people at the office, it's their one and only. And then you have a team of engineers. There's roughly a dozen people that for most of them, it's their one and only job that they've been working on for months. So pretty serious endeavor. We feel really good about it. I'm really pleased with where the drawings are. But what we would seek out of you is to allow us to approve these drawings as they stand to send them on to KDE. So today is February 13th. We are claiming the drawings to be 95%. That's where we think they stand right at the moment. We set today as a deadline for all the engineering teams. So again, you have architects working on it, civil engineer, structural engineer, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. All have been working on this. We've had a kitchen consultant, etc. All those drawings flooded to us today. And just for an example, the civil engineer sent us 50 sheets of drawings just for how this site's going to work, how that road's going to work, how all the topography works. So we set it as a deadline. All of that was delivered. It is complete as right now. But we're calling it 95 because we need to spend another 2-3 weeks just going through everything and checking. So it's not that, we are at 393 sheets today. It's not that we're going to push to 420 or 500. The drawings are in place, but we're going to spend the next couple weeks quality controlling. And then on March 1st, we have a deadline to report back to your construction manager with the drawings so that they can bring them into their fold and they'll begin the bid process. That's where we stand.
Trent, have you looked at all this?
No.
Anyone have any questions?
I assume this is gonna happen anyway, but I'd like to request that our staff, middle school principal, everybody go through these, food service, your head cook, those sorts of things, and look for things, cause, I know these folks are great, but sometimes the head cook can figure out that the oven's in the wrong place and we can't get to the dishwasher or something like that. So I think there's real value in our folks, as quick as they can, taking a look and going through that stuff.
We did actually meet
Great.
with him, with that team,
Great.
with the kitchen consultant, and he walked us through every single piece of that kitchen and where that equipment, and he even toured our current middle school to look for equipment that we might can use in the new building. Yeah.
Miss Jessica meets with us on our Tuesday morning meetings and comes to provide input as well. So she comes over and as we're all meeting together and participates in all that.
So we feel really good about it. We do want to come back next month and kind of revive, and we talked about this, but we want to revive the renderings in the video because it's been a while since we've shown what this thing actually looks like, and we'd like to report that back to you.
So Derek, can I make a request of that?
Yeah.
We were discussing prior to the meeting, when we go to the bids, we will be bidding that gymnasium as an alternate,
Yes, ma'am.
the gymatorium. So we do have goals and plans to build that on at the end of the project.
Yes.
But could we get a rendering of what that would look like
Yes.
absent that gymatorium?
Yes.
Kind of get an idea of what we're looking at for both.
Yes, ma'am.
And then that way, if anyone in the public has any questions, then we already have that they could reach out and.
So for all intents and purposes, it is in the documents, and but we can do one where it just shows it removed. Yes, absolutely.
Right. And in our discussion prior to the meeting, we plan to have that.
Yes.
But it would just be nice just to be able to say, here's what the alternatives would look like. Thank
Derek, we talked last month about finances and financial concerns. We're doing this about as cheap as we can, having a nice building. We don't think we're building a good Chevrolet, not a Cadillac, and.
Yes, I think so, yes. No, it's commonsensical. Again, the biggest stunt we've pulled on the entire project is the bus tunnel. But remember, kind of the whole project revolves around that. That's what makes the site work. But no, everything is built sensibly, so we didn't kind of go for any kind of, we're gonna go for net zero, or we're gonna go for some of these impressive taglines that cost a lot of money but don't get a lot of payback. This is kind of sensible construction. It's well insulated, well built, structurally sound. You know, but a lot of the kind of mojo is paint, and kind of graphics, and trying to be tasteful with how things laid out. It's not, it's hard to identify quickly any waste or silliness to it.
Trent, do we feel good about the paint? I know that was a question way back about the paint and the maintenance on that front with the outside. Are we?
Yeah, I feel 100% comfortable with it.
I move to approve.
Second.
Thank you all very much.
All in favor? Thank you so much for all that you've done.
Can I approach the bench?
Yes, come on, Rose, we won't throw anything at you, I promise. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm gonna leave one off of it to Ms. Angie. Thank you.
I'll spend my Saturday and Sunday.
That'd be good. Give me something to do.
Thank you again. Item 6A, review the superintendent's personnel action report.
I'll give you just a moment to take a look at that if you have any questions. We're still actively hiring classified and certified substitutes. That's the vast majority of this month's update.
What does it mean that it's like emergency substitute?
Which one do you see that, Ms. T?
I don't remember.
It was
When I went-
approved underneath
Approved,
that,
yeah.
operations and actions.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
That's-
I just,
that's
when I was going through, I
When we
seen that.
have, when we have a substitute that has X number of, college credits, but they're not a certified teacher, then we apply through the standards board for them to get a certain certification, allowing them to sub in our classrooms.
It's good to see Miss Savannah coming back.
And I encourage all of you on Facebook to follow Miss Savannah's, community, involvement page that she's doing for Save the Children. She's got some really great stuff going on, so make sure you take a look at that.
Department reports,
Those are all uploaded, in
Nobody
case
wants
anybody
to
has any
share?
questions.
does anybody wanna share about all the fun you're having? Jennifer, you wanna share about all your fun stuff?
Well, Nutrislife is almost up and ready, actually. We've been working till our eyes are crossed to get all of our menus ready and our food list made and created. Now I'm just doing the fun part, which is styling the menu. So it's gonna be really, really cool. I think parents in the community will enjoy having access to all that nutritional information. I made him look at it
I got the
today. and
10-cent tour today.
he got the tour. So I'm hoping it'll be live March 1, and so we'll have links on the website. It'll be directly linked. Parents will be able to download that app on their phones, no matter what phone they have. They can do that. I'm just trying to make sure everything looks the way that it needs to be, so it's easy to navigate and easy to find that information. But yeah, we're excited about it. That's what I've mainly been working on. Oh, and Farm to School. We've already had one organizational meeting. We're hoping to become a Farm to School district, and so we'll use our local producers and growers, hopefully, to get some of those fresh fruits and vegetables and maybe meat, who knows what all we can do. But we have a local county meeting with farmers. Ms. Holly Robinson is helping with that. And we're gonna meet on the 28th of February in the evening over at the farmer's market. So I guess just to talk with them about what they're gonna grow and produce in the coming months, and how we can get that into our schools as quickly as we can. We've got some grant money that we've acquired that will help us pay for that and be reimbursed for the money that we spend on those products. So it's gonna help our community, our farmers, and I'm excited about that too. So two big things.
Anyone else have anything? Thank you all very much. Ms. Carey, Superintendent Communication.
Just wanted to remind everyone the KSBA conference is coming up February 24th through the 26th, and your room reservations have been made and you're registered for all of your hours. if you go to that and attend those courses, of course, you know, those of you that need more hours because you're newer board members, you can get all of those in one setting if you go and attend all of that, so you don't have to go back to other things. And then I wanted to remind you that KSBA will be having the Lunch and Learn series. Do you all receive the emails directly from KSBA highlighting those? Anyone that ever wants to participate? I think Angie Woods has done a couple. Let me know. You get an hour worth of credit. We can register you for that. And that's just an easy way. You can sit at your computer and go through those. So if anyone ever wants to participate, just let me know and I'll make sure to get you registered for those. The only other thing that I wanted to highlight, I had sent out an email to you all today, just kind of highlighting a few things going on in the district. But Mr. Thomas, we're really excited. We are having our district-wide spelling bee February 28th. Lots of excitement around that at the school level. Ms. Starla Binge is organizing all of that. So if any of you all would like to come to that, I can let you know the time. It will be at the high school, and I think it's going to be a great day for our kids. So I'll make. Oh, good. Okay, perfect. So if you can't come, Brandon will bring it to you.
Also, wanted to reach out to our cheerleaders at the high school. Very proud of what they did. Exciting for the kids and Miss Joni for hard work. So I was really proud of them. And I got to go to academic team meet Saturday, yeah. And but listen, our kids are very impressive. All of our kids, I really enjoyed watching them, and they know stuff that. Do you know half of the answers, Brandon? Yeah, I didn't either. I just I want to make sure that I wasn't the only parent there.
I always think I know the ones that Jasper misses.
Listen, they ask some crazy questions.
And Angie, I had put in my email to you all today, and it was late this afternoon. You may not have had a chance to read it yet, but I would like in March to invite our cheerleaders to come and let's recognize them and their coaches for their achievements. So we'll have that arranged.
And we had this meeting tonight because tomorrow night is
Senior night for
Okay.
them, yes.
Okay.
So the boys and girls basketball team had senior night last Friday night, and the cheerleaders weren't able to participate because they were in Disney. So their senior night is tomorrow. So I'm sure they would love it if any of you all were there.
Matt, do you have anything?
I wanted to mention two things. I think last week was School Counselors Month, and I think how much Dale Whitaker and Janice Miller did for me almost 30 years ago, but I think how much harder a counselor's job is today and how much more important. So I want to recognize those folks. And then the Trench report, he mentioned our custodians. And I tell you, every time I go to Rockcastle High School, I look around and I say, this building is almost 30 years old. And there's not a better looking 30-year-old building in the state of Kentucky, and I'm in a bunch of them. And Mount Vernon Elementary is 30 plus, and it's just unbelievable. So hats off to our maintenance folks and our custodians for a super, super good job. Until you're out in some other schools, you don't know how good we have it. And they do a wonderful job.
I think, Matt, that's a testimony to why the middle school is, that it looks as good as it does on the surface. It's just because of the work that Trent and our janitors.
Roundstone, look how old Roundstone is, and it is just, it sparkles when you walk in. I mean, they do a great job there too, so.
Thank you for pointing that out.
I just would like to request, Ms. Jenny, if you would, I'll pay for it, but could we make sure that we get something for Mr. Ronnie Cash's? Okay, good, and I don't care to pay for it, but I think it would be very appropriate if we sent something for that. So my condolences to his family. With that being said, I appreciate all of you. Thank you for all of your hard work and all that you do for our kids here. And with that being said, I need a motion for us to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor? Thank you so much.